Welcome to the Florida State podcast of Entrepreneurship and Innovation, where we showcase student entrepreneurs to learn about the startups they are working on, check in with alumni to hear about the companies they are building, and learn from seasoned entrepreneurs who have built amazing companies. Hosted by Mark McNeese, a serial entrepreneur who has started for-profits, nonprofits, social impact companies, and is currently entrepreneur in residence at the Jim Moran School of Entrepreneurship.
I'm Mark McNeese, your host, and today we have Angela Udongwo, the co-founder of InnoHealth Diagnostics, to talk about her journey from ideation to winning the innovation challenge to where she's pivoted and where she's gone today. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
So thanks for coming in, Angela. So tell me a little bit about the formation of your company originally, how you prepared for the Innovation Challenge, who were the co-founders. Tell us a little bit about your journey.
So I'll start with the co-founders. It was me and my friend Nkechi. We're both Nigerian. We're both very into healthcare. We were in the pre-med track at FSU. And so I've always felt a need to give back to Nigeria because it's almost like a lottery where it's like, did your parents come from America or did they stay in Nigeria? And they're completely different stories, what they look like. So I always felt a need to give back to that community, and Nkechi felt that same need. So around end of 2017, early 2018, we partnered together to kind of find a way that we can tackle that. We had really great connections within Jim Moran, Wendy, and
Wendy Plant.
Wendy Plant, yes,
Yeah.
Wendy Plant. And she directed us to Cesar Rodriguez, who is the director of the BioBeam program.
Right.
And through that, we just took off from there, where we just started in the ideation phase. We started just brainstorming ideas, looking at the top 5 killers and how to tackle that through prevention, treatment, or diagnostics.
So you were looking at the top 5 killers of people in Nigeria.
Yes.
And you decided you were going to use your background in pre-med and working with Cesar Rodriguez and Wendy on how to come up with a product or service to be able to move the needle on this terrible problem that's happening in Nigeria. So what did you guys come up with?
So we came up with, so I was saying it was either treatment, diagnostics, or prevention. We decided to go with diagnostics because going back to the top 5 killers, the top 3 are all infectious diseases. And one category, it's called neglected tropical diseases. And they're a type of infectious disease that is completely preventable, which is the very devastating part. It doesn't have to kill you, but it causes over 1 billion deaths worldwide. And so we went with diagnostics because we believe that early diagnosis leads to more effective treatment, and that leads to a better prognosis and just a better standard of life.
Okay, so you decided to do the diagnostics, and how did you hear about the Innovation Challenge?
So I was actually an entrepreneurship minor, and I was directed through, I was in one of Wendy's classes, I think it was how to build a business model. And so I was directed through that to the challenge. I think my friend was the one who pushed me to just apply. Why not? And so 2017, I think November was the date just to put in your idea, and then going through this challenge through 2018. We didn't get past the second round, the submission 2, because we really didn't have a formalized idea. But we knew that there was something there. We believed in the mission, and so we believed that as we continue moving forward, we continue doing research, we would get to an idea, a product will come, and we can apply for the next round, which is what we did.
Okay, so the next year.
The next year.
So the next year. So I didn't know that. So in 2017, you applied in the Innovation Challenge, and just for our audience, the Innovation Challenge is what Jim Moran does to put out to all of FSU, where entrepreneurs can come up with their ideas and submit them, and they go through different rounds, and they have the opportunity to go to the final round where they can win up to $10,000 to seed their idea. And then there's other categories like best corporate social responsibility idea that can win like $4,000 and things like that. So you went into that process.
Yep.
You didn't make it past the second round.
No, there's 4 rounds.
Yeah, there's 4 rounds, and there's a lot of people that apply. So, but you didn't let that sway you, and you went back to the drawing board. So what did you guys do, like, until the next time?
So from, I think the second round, it was like January, so it was very early on. And we were just thinking about this idea. So we weren't really swayed away from the idea because we knew we were still early. And the pitch was going more to more developed ideas. So we were like, okay, well, we just need to get to that more developed stage. I was graduating that year, but my partner was a junior, so we could still apply since she was an FSU student. And so we just went to the drawing board and we just literally met every single week with more research papers that we've discovered, looking at different ideas, and until we came to a place where we found collaborators through the FSU FAMU Engineering School senior design project that were doing diagnostics for a different infectious disease. So we found collaborators and we started working with them over the summer, just thinking about how we can make this an actual thing. And then, I mean, it became a thing probably early that school year, so August 2018. And by then we were just full on researching, full on ready to develop the idea further. So we were ready by November to put in the idea again and continue with the process.
So at this point, it seems like you have 3 different colleges involved. You have Cesar Rodriguez from the College of Medicine mentoring you.
Right.
You have the College of Engineering, and then you have Wendy Plant from the Jim Moran School of Entrepreneurship working with your team to help develop that.
Exactly.
That's one of the cool things at FSU in the entrepreneurship. I believe it's the only program that's actually university-wide, that there's entrepreneur in residence at every college.
Exactly.
So, because, all these, lawyers need to be entrepreneur, right? Doctors need to be entrepreneurs. So.
Anyone can be an entrepreneur, and that's what I've learned through this whole process is that anyone can innovate where they are right now. Anyone can change a problem that they see. So anyone can be an entrepreneur, and I think that's really important.
So you come up with this idea, this diagnostic idea. Tell us about that idea. Tell us, like, how does it work? Why is it different? What is the current way that people were diagnosing problems, and why was yours better, faster, or cheaper?
So I'll start with the diagnostic itself. It came from a senior design project, as I said, by Jack Robbins. And he was going towards STIs. He was looking for a faster way to diagnose this. And excuse me if I go into very janky, like, technical language, just stop me. But he was exploring this method called loop-mediated isothermal amplification. For short, it's LAMP. And that just involves putting a sample of human urine in a chip, or just any sample of human sample, and taking whatever you're targeting. For us, it was a parasite, so the parasitic eggs in the urine, and opening it up, getting the DNA, and just amplifying it a lot until it's detectable. And so this was a very sensitive method because instead of waiting until an infection is a certain level of detection, you can get it when the parasite was in your body, just even if it's one parasite, as long as they're producing eggs. So it was sensitive, meaning it would be accurate. It was fast because the method performs under 30 minutes, and the gold standard, at least for us, for our disease, is looking under a microscope. So that takes a lot of different steps before that. And it was cheaper because it didn't require all the personnel. It was in a chip that was it was plastic, it was not reusable, sorry, it's disposable. And the parts that required to make the chip were very, very inexpensive.
Okay, so do you know how much the standard test costs versus what your test cost?
So the standard test would include, it's not really a test, it's more of just a method.
Okay.
And that's, as I said, having someone to look under the microscope, count the eggs to see the number of eggs. And before that, you would have to do filtration of whatever sample you're using. You have to stain it and then put it under the microscope. So that's 3 steps just right there the cost of each step. I mean, the whole package was like $600. I know this because I just did it this past summer.
Like $600.
$600,
Okay.
and then so you have to divide that per how many samples you have, and then the actual person who's doing it would get paid a certain amount. You would have to wait to get it double checked from someone else. It's just a very long process that
Long and expensive.
Inexpensive because of all the steps that are required, and it wasn't time efficient because it was a long process, as I said.
So what you guys came up with, how long did it actually take and how much did it cost?
So the standard test ran under 30 minutes. It's a lab test that we were employing to the field. And then the cost for chip, the prototype was costing around 66 cents to make per chip. And so we were going to market that at $1.
So $600 long time versus $1 30 minutes.
Exactly.
All right, fantastic. So you pitched this, you go back into the Innovation Challenge. Did you get past round 2 in 2018?
We got past round 2
Okay.
and 3 and 4. We got in.
All right, you're going too fast. So tell us about, so round 2, what did you do?
So round 2 was putting in the business model canvas.
Okay. Yep. BMC,
okay.
business model canvas.
Yes.
Yep.
And so that involves having your key partners, your actual product, pretty much just how you're going to make money, who's going to buy it, that type of setup. So we put it in because we actually had a product. We actually had data to show that it was better than the gold standard. And so we got past that round.
Okay, and then you went to round 3, which was?
Going into the budget. And I think it was more of what we plan to do in the next year and how much it would cost. And so what I liked about the Innovation Challenge is that it forced you to do steps that any company would need to do. So the business model canvas is pretty much your business, the budget, how much you need to pay for your partners, or if you need to pay them, is things you need to think through. And so that was the third.
Okay, and then the fourth, and the third you pitched as well, right? Semifinal pitch?
I think the fourth was the semifinal.
Okay,
pitch,
so you
yes.
pitched in the semifinals, and I think there's probably like 24 semifinalists at that point, or something?
it was a lengthy number. I'm not sure how many people applied, but the semifinalists it's close to 20. I'm not sure. Yeah.
And since you're here, we'll assume that you passed the semifinal round and you got to the finals. So tell us about the finals. Well, what was that like?
It was nerve-wracking because the semifinals was the first time. It was the first time I pitched the idea in front of a group of people that weren't always in the weekly meetings. So I was just like, just shaking. But we got past the semifinals, as you said. We're really grateful. And then the finals itself, we had a way better PowerPoint. I would just shout out to everybody on the team for making that PowerPoint better. But honestly, we believed in the mission, and everybody had such great ideas, and we were just happy to be there. So we kind of just, we watched, we applauded. When it was our turn, we went, we pitched, and we made it through.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I was fortunate to be a finalist judge, and I was very impressed with your team. And the cool thing is, too, is you kind of alluded to it, that you're pitching to people that that they don't know you, they don't know your product, and things like that. And in the finals, that we fly in top business leaders from around the country and pull in experts and things like that. So it's a real big deal, right? And so you won, and then afterwards, the winners got to go dinner with a lot of the sponsors and directors, and we had a big swanky dinner and everything, and all that. So fantastic. Well, we talked before, so I know that you've pivoted since the Innovation Challenge. So tell us about that.
So post Innovation Challenge, I'm also in my master's program in public health, so it was really aiding towards what we were doing with the mission in the company itself. And through that program, we met partners right in Nigeria who were able to house us this summer, and they have a diagnostic lab. So we were able to actually perform the gold standard with a sample of almost 300 patients, or I'll just call them people because patients. So we had around 300 samples, and we were able to perform the process I was just explaining with filtration, microscopy, and we understood that the problem itself wasn't just, the solution wouldn't just be diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
Diagnosis was a great way for an early solution, more effective treatment, but there's still a lot of factors that go into just the disease itself, and goes into behavior. It's a multifaceted issue. So as you said, we pivoted because we understood that the product itself wouldn't be feasible as a first to market product, and so we're looking at more of as I said, it's a multifaceted problem. So looking at a multifaceted solution, and that might involve different software. It could involve diagnostic in a different form, but as I said, it's an issue that needs to be addressed, and so we're very eager to address it.
Okay, great. So, what's next? Like, what's your next steps?
So we're kind of, and this is why it's great being an entrepreneur. It's really an up and down roller coaster. And so we had some huge ups after the challenge. We went to other challenges, and we were able to bootstrap more money. And then I wouldn't even say this is a down, but more of just like, what can we do to address the mission? And that goes into the next steps, which is, okay, so we need to put more people on the team with different perspectives. We have to increase, we have a key partner now in Nigeria. We're going to go back there, gather more data. We're going to analyze our data we have this summer, and kind of just maneuver the business model in response to that data.
Okay, so that's great to hear. So you have a key partner in Nigeria. You're building your team here. What would you say? Do you have everything you need to go to the next level, or what's one of the needs that you guys like? What's your biggest need to keep moving this thing forward?
I think I don't know if anyone has everything they need ever as an entrepreneur.
No, they don't.
I wish, but I would say the biggest need right now would be from a technical aspect, because we do believe that innovation in technology is a huge step forward with healthcare, and we believe that we can bring that innovation to Nigeria and to its communities, because it's actually already there. It's just what's there has a lot of they don't have as many resources as we do here to move to the next step, and so it can even look like helping that innovation go to the next level.
Okay.
But I guess a short answer would be kind of from a tech standpoint, like a CTO to move forward in the technology realm.
That's fantastic. So, kind of going back in your journey, you said that Cesar Rodriguez helped a lot, and Wendy Plant. What other faculty or staff members at Florida State or the Jim Moran School has helped you along in your journey?
Well, of course, I have to shout out Emily Pritchard.
She's great.
Yeah, she's a professor at the engineering school. She joined us in our journey, took us through the ACC challenge, which is a regional challenge through the East Coast, and continues to help us and stay on the team. And she's a huge aspect, not only because of her background, but because of her current connections. She actually put us with Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville for their new business incubator. We're going to be their first student business in the incubator.
Oh, fantastic.
It opens up, I believe, I think next week or 2 weeks from now.
Congratulations.
So that's a pretty cool partner itself. And so we're really looking forward to learning from their connections and their experiences.
Fantastic. Well, those are all great people. It sounds like you feel like, and you and the team feel like you've been well supported here at FSU.
Yes. FSU it helped me as a person tremendously, but as a business person, I'm not sure if it's on if the school is on the map as a big entrepreneurship school, but Jim Moran has helped. I can say this personally, but for other people that I know has gone through the process as well, shape them as an entrepreneur, because not only do they have that opportunity at the Innovation Challenge and even before that, but they have connections beyond that. So it's a huge realm of people that you can continue to talk to, that want to see you succeed, and that's just a really great thing to have as a young entrepreneur, as a student, as a person.
Well, awesome. Thank you, Angela, for coming in today and sharing about the journey, your journey, and InnoHealth's journey, and your pivot and everything. It's very exciting to hear what's going on and to be able to connect with you and just hear about everything.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us at the Jim Moran Entrepreneurship Podcast. Again, I'm Mark McNeese, your host, and our guest today was Angela from InnoHealth. Angela, where do you like to listen to or watch podcasts?
I really like going on Spotify.
Okay.
So you can just listen to music and then hop on a podcast right after.
Very good. So you can catch us on Spotify or iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you like to listen or watch podcasts. Do us a favor, if you like the podcast, please share it and also like it and rate it, and let's get the word out for the Jim Moran Entrepreneurship Podcast. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you for joining the Florida State Podcast of Entrepreneurship and Innovation. If you would like to be notified of new episodes, please subscribe via your favorite player. Also, if you like the podcast, please take the time to share it on social media, give it a 5-star rating, and review it on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever else you enjoy your podcasts. This will help us get the word out to other entrepreneurs that the FSU Entrepreneurship Podcast has been launched.